Throughout history, mankind has relied on trade as means of survival. Trade plays an important role in all developing countries.
With trade, we are able to create a lot of jobs in our country. It boosts the level of living. That means eventually that the economies will go up and we shall improve the national development as a whole.
The East African region is currently characterized by high logistics costs and low levels of service provision.
Logistics plays a huge part in entire value chains. For all that we produce in Eastern Africa, if we could export that to Western Africa today, for example, at a much lower cost, much more faster cycle times, we could become more and more producers of things that they need.
Logistics costs currently account for about 42% of the total cost of production, while costs associated with delays represent about 23% of the total import process cost.
For Kenya to become efficient, we need to have a very good understanding of the costs of freight, the costs of logistics, the costs of clearing, the time it takes, because at the moment interest rates are running at 14 to 20%. You have an extra month of demurrage, or your container is stuck in the ocean or in the port. That's a lot of money that's just getting tied up for everybody.
These challenges did not only cause friction among traders and service providers, but also discouraged investment in the import and export sector, leading to the decrease of trade in the region.
If you look at the structure of trade at the moment, there is a big imbalance, particularly for Kenya. The current account deficit is widening. In other words, there is less exports compared to imports. In fact, exports are stagnating while imports are increasing, and we may end up with an unsustainable current account if we don't take some remedial measures.
These challenges did not go unnoticed. The Shippers Council of Eastern Africa was formed to represent the interests of importers and exporters in the Eastern Africa region.
Shippers Council of Eastern Africa is a body corporate that represents shippers who do business of import and export through the ports and the airports.
The Shippers Council was set up as the owners of the cargo, and to be able to bring in efficiencies into the system, look at the sustainability of the supply chain, have a body that would be able to advocate and lobby with government, with the port authorities, with the KRA and other major stakeholders within the industries to make the whole supply chain a lot more efficient, where you would then be able to cut back on costs, improve savings and improve your sustainability.
70-80% of the companies that we represent do business in the region, and there was need for us to actually have that regional framework.
The entry of the Shippers Council in the industry assisted in the implementation of various legislations that led to improved service provision.
The Shippers Council has, over the last 5 years, become one of the main focal bodies in the private sector that government refers to. If you remember, in the old days, our roads kept breaking down because heavy trucks used to be going there all the time. Shippers Council was very much involved in ensuring that the weighbridge stations came in. We had the 7 tons per axle load limit brought in. It's being respected, and now we have got probably the best roads in the region. The Shippers Council has also been very much involved in the LAPSET, the LAMU setup. In the old days, if you brought a container in, as an agent, you would run to Kenya Bureau of Standards, you would run to KRA, you would run to KEFIS. Now everything is done on a single portal window, which makes it much more efficient. It cuts down clearance times by up to a week, 10 days, and all your payments are done online.
The Mombasa Port Corridor Charter was signed last year in the presence of His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta. 25 signatories actually appended their signature to that charter. One of those signatories was the Shippers Council, and the other one also was Trademark East Africa. And these two organizations also worked very closely in preparation of that document.
Shippers Council of Eastern Africa is also involved in creating awareness about government policies and ensuring compliance by industry.
We are an advocacy and a membership organization. A lot of the issues that we deal with have a lot to do with the Port of Mombasa, the corridor that we deal with from Mombasa to Malaba and beyond, some of the operational issues at the airport, some of the policy issues that the government brings in. So we do advocacy on those areas. We actually scan the environment every year and see how are we performing in terms of our logistics vis-a-vis the rest of the world.
We take in the issues that the members present to us that range from some of the issues that they have with maybe government service providers or private sector service providers. that are stopping the smooth flow of their operations. We sort them out for them. Sometimes it's on an individual company basis, or sometimes we collate issues to sort of get the feel of the issue at a larger scale, and then we present it to the concerned party at maybe a roundtable discussion or in their offices.
There are numerous benefits of joining the Shippers Council of Eastern Africa, some of which have saved businesses huge amounts of money.
The certain tariffs which were imposed by CFSs, by shipping lines, the Shippers Council have aligned them in the past.
When President Uhuru Kenyatta came up with the project to enhance the shipping time out of the port of Mombasa, Shippers Council played a key role. They provided training, workshops, and many other interventions which have helped logistics.
We had the tax trainings, we had the inspection trainings, we had an issue with evaluation with KRA. Every time we used to bring in our goods, we could have disputes after disputes. But when we joined the Shippers Council, so they gave us an audience. In fact, one of them actually came here, and he took it up to himself to go and meet the KRA commissioners. And that we're grateful, because he did it on our behalf, and that has not been an issue ever since.
Shippers Council has been able to ensure that the cargo that is moving on the road is as per the limits that are allowed to be moved on road. This has really assisted us in increasing the cargo that is moving by rail.
Shippers Council have really been of help and of support to compliance. I've gone through their website and I've shared with several transporters, even from the other parts of the East Africa region. And some of them proudly tell me that they access the information from Shippers Council.
Through working with us, the Council has been able to achieve at least more than 150% increase in its members. There's been lots of progress at the Council in dissemination of information, particularly through the logistics performance survey.
We are living in a region where I can see a lot of boom in our industry. We need to focus on the core things of our businesses, and the Shippers Council will be an association which will help us to achieve this.
East Africa right now is at a fantastic positioning in Africa. We're the hub for a lot of things, and I think we just got to make sure each one of us works together and makes this happen.
In Shippers Council, we have a lot of capacity in terms of what we are able to do. So we are really excited that we have a space that is not occupied by anybody else.
Membership to Shippers Council is open to any registered company involved in direct import and export business, and to all logistics service providers.
For us to remain competitive the next couple of years, we're going to have to cut down our costs. And that's what the Shippers Council is really going to do. And that's where the membership is needed.